Welcome back. Welcome back. So, in video 5, we talked about taking the high ground. Yes, taking the high ground. Not being a crazy, difficult tenant and being very nice and sweet with the service repairs so that when he doesn't do them, we've trapped him and he looks like a complete ass, which he would be if he was doing that. So you just proved the point, right? Cleverly. So in this video, video 6, we're going to talk about 5-day notices, 10-day notices. Because when that landlord is ignoring you, your service requests, what else are you going to do? You're going to keep telling him for months until he just doesn't do it? No, you tell him one time, or what's reasonable. If it's something small and you forgot, be reasonable, because you always want to take the higher ground. So what you do is you don't request another. You don't verbally request another repair. You go online and you get the 5-day notice to rectify, or the 10-day notice to rectify. And I'm going to be giving you links, and you can go to the court forms, judicial. You got to be careful because, well, I'll supply that later. But you're going to want to categorize it by if the landlord has not fixed the toilet. That's a matter of health and safety. That's disgusting. If it's a sewage overflow or something like that, or air conditioning unit, we talked about the matters of health and safety. If that's the case, you have to give him the letter and specifically state what you want him to do on it, what's wrong, what you want him to do to rectify it, and if he doesn't, what you're going to do on a health and safety. You have the option of saying, if not, at the end of the 5 days, I will be leaving the residence and the lease, as you are in breach of contract, in breach of the lease, rental agreement. So we'll deal with what to do after that later in another video. But so if it's a 5-day notice, that's that. If it's something general, like an appliance being out, or the light in the closet needing a bulb and you can't do it, I don't know, but something like that, then it's 10 days. Be reasonable. If it's a light in the closet, maybe just get a ladder. But if you're at war with your landlord and he's doing these things to you, it's not going to be something like a light bulb. So anyways, that's a 10-day notice, and you have the choice of telling him that you're going to take him to court, pursue legal actions about that, and that's the time that you'd want to say the other violations that he has been violating against you. So that's when you've taken the gloves off, you're starting to hit hard. You're telling him, look, I'm holding you legally responsible now. And then in the next video, we're going to drop the statutes, and that's one of the hardest ones to understand, how they work together. That was the hardest thing for me. It was really, really hard. I know that I a couple of times embarrassed myself by saying something that completely did not make sense, because the statutes didn't work well together. So, but I thought I knew what I was talking about. and it happens. We make our mistakes, and I'm hoping that my mistakes will be, not yours. So then you give the 10-day notice. So what we're going to talk about next is if they don't adhere to the 5-day notice or the 10-day notice, because you're sure not going to sit there and go, are you going to stay, or are you going to stay and be abused? You're going to fight and be and not let him be them abuse you? What are you going to do? You got to be willing to, or ready to go through with every single step, even if it's hard. Because trust me, he'll do 10 times worse to you now, after you've started doing what you've done to protect yourself. If you give up now, he's going to massacre you. They're going to massacre you, slay you. And you don't want that. Keep the higher ground and never give up. Be strong. From an Essential Healing Touch and me, Sherry, I will see you on video, I think it's 7. I think. And anything I might have missed. It's hot in here.